It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time to talk about the fastest hour of wrestling action on Turner Network Television. Let's get started! I'm John Reitman with my review of AEW Rampage. Outside of a couple things, there wasn't a lot to talk about on this show, in my personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. I gotta say, though, I think they really should stick with the time slot they had for Rampage Slam Dunk last week. It just seems better. You would get out of the way quicker, and since it's a taped show, you wouldn't have it on so late on Fridays. It just, I don't know. It just seems, it just seems like the show is in a creative quagmire, giggity. It just seems like they're just putting a couple things out there, but they're not really putting a whole lot of effort in. I'm not talking about the talent. I'm talking about just people putting the show together. And I know that after CM Punk made his shocking return to wrestling, and they got a huge spike, they were going to plateau, but it just feels like Rampage doesn't have a lot of pizzazz to it. The crowd was loud for a couple things, but whatever. So Excalibur, Taz, Ricky Starks, and the Insurrection influencer himself, Chris Jericho, on commentary, and whenever Jericho's on commentary, I tune out. Because I'm sorry, putting aside the bullshit, like he donated so much money to Donald Trump, his wife and mother-in-law were on, at the Capitol, on January 6th, not participating, so they say. Still, putting that shit to the side, even though it's really hard to, Jericho just screams like a goddamn drunk uncle, a drunkle as it were, and just does the same bullshit and overtakes commentary and doesn't add anything. Putting all that stuff in there, because I'm going to keep doing that because I don't care who I piss off, Jericho is a detriment to AEW programming. He hasn't done anything good recently. It's been at least a year and a half, if not longer, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. So anyway, Sammy Guevara taking on Andrade El Olio with the Hardy Family Orifice. Every member of the Hardy Family Orifice out there. Actually not, but they might as well have been because, boy, this match was messy. TNT Championship match. Why oh why does Sammy still have the two TNT Championships? Is it to rub it in Cody's face? Is it because they don't want to get rid of one? Is it because Sammy wants to, maintain having the same, same veininess in his arms and everything, so he lifts them? I think he could go to the gym and accomplish the same goddamn thing. He doesn't need two championship belts. We don't need to have this anymore. Look, the match was fine, well worked. There were some good spots, a couple that I'll mention. I've given up on Andrade meaning anything in AEW. He can work, and that's it. He is not interesting at all. We get flips and strikes, a DDT on the apron, the hardest part of the ring. We get a Spanish fly from the top. Of course we do. Matt ends up exposing a turnbuckle at one point, and then it's like he was trying to get Andrade's feet on the ropes, or did he push them off? Or are we getting some dissension in the AHFO, the Andrade Hardy Family Orifice? Are we already getting that in a group that doesn't really fucking matter, and it's probably going to end up being Andrade taking over the group, while Matt ends up siding with his brother. That's probably going to be coming in really goddamn soon, because, 40-plus-year-old Jeff Hardy with bad knees and a bad back and everything basically fused together. With Matt Hardy, everything fused together and a few years older. That's what we want to fucking see. The Hardy Boys and AEW ring. If you want to see that, that's fine. I don't. So, Matt basically ends up costing Andrade the win without intending to. And we get a spike cutter, a bad landing, 1, 2, 3. And then a messy finish, and so Sammy retains, duh. We get aftermath. Matt attacks, and then Darby and Grandpa Sting come up, and Darby dives on Matt, and Grandpa Sting helps beat up Isaiah Cassidy, and then coffin drop, and then we get that. So hype for the six-man at Revolution. Oh, boy. Here's QT, and he blames Taz for the disrespect that Hook shows, and then Hook shows up and beats up a bunch of students. I mean, Hook got a good pop. That was about it for this segment. We're going to get Hook versus QT on the pre-show of the pay-per-view. Watch that happen. So, Man of the Year back there with Dan Lambert, the sheepish lion Dan Lambert, and Lambert basically said, hey, I found a way to get you a guaranteed TNT title shot. I don't trust Keith Lee any further than I can throw him, but basically, from what I gather from this, if Keith Lee wins the TNT championship, then Sky gets a shot, or Sky's going to get a shot before. They were a little confused on this. And then Wardlow beat Nick Comoroto. They were already in the ring. We get big man stuff, and Comoroto showed some good strength. And then we get the Powerbomb Symphony, puts his foot on his chest, 1, 2, 3. Spears ends up hitting Solo after he tried diving on Wardlow, and Wardlow was about to powerbomb him. But then he's shaking his hands and everything, and then Spears starts talking. And that's instantly where I said they've taken the towel and they've thrown it in. Because, look, Shawn Spears is good in the ring. Shawn Spears should never be heard on a goddamn microphone. He tells Wardlow the whole powerbomb symphony isn't working as the crowd continues to roar. It's simple storytelling. It's just not good as far as involving Spears because, yeah, sure, unless Wardlow just basically smashes Spears, destroys him into a million pieces, and that's it, because it should not be a competitive match at all, then we've kind of just torched this whole thing. So, the Serena Skrull challenge, because, Marty is unfortunately not able to be around young people or within 1,000 yards of a goddamn school, so Serena Deeb has to basically channel her beau, as it were, Marty Skrull, and beat up Kayla Sparks and take advantage of a young challenger. Serena wins. Life goes on. The Thunder Rosa Britt Baker contract signing. One of the few things I actually like, because Thunder Rosa, anytime she's fired up, that's dangerous. But she's passionate about wrestling. She calls her a word I'm not going to repeat on here. But she called her a nasty word. But a word deserving for Britt being a dastardly heel. And Thunder Rosa wants to win the AEW Women's Championship. And Britt talks a bit and everything. So Rosa cuts a quick but fired up promo. Britt talks and says, well, you're wrestling on YouTube just hoping to get a shot. I don't know if she was referring to the AEW YouTube shows or referring a while ago to when she was wrestling on NWA Power, when it was on YouTube before it went on hiatus. But this was good. This was good. Rosa attacks Britt. We get a brief brawl. Mercedes comes down, attacks Jamie Hayter, and Mercedes puts Jamie Hayter through the table. That was fine. That was a good thing to have with the women. It was quick. It didn't go on too long. Rosa got to say her piece. Britt got to say her piece. I'm looking forward to this match. I think it'll steal the goddamn show at the pay-per-view. I'm curious to see if Thunder Rosa wins. I think she should, because if she doesn't, then Britt's going to be very close to a one-year reign. And is Rosa going to get another shot? Rosa should be the one to win the AEW Women's Championship. It would be good storytelling. It'd be just about a year after their, lights out match at St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day Slam, I think is what it was. I don't remember the exact name of the event, but I remember loving the goddamn match. So, good stuff though. Where is my mind? It's somewhere else, because it was Anthony Bowens and Orange Cassidy. A line from Max Caster's rap got cut. Apparently, he said something about the Ukraine or Putin or something like that, but it got edited out because of what's been going on. The news hadn't broken yet by the time, Dynamite was done and Rampage was done, but good on them for editing it out. And the match, same as it ever was. I don't care when Orange Cassidy wrestles. Bowens is fine. Danhausen suddenly appears behind Caster, curses him, and then we get the Orange Punch 1, 2, 3. So yeah, once again, they took besides the contract signing and the Wardlow stuff, they just threw in the goddamn towel. That's all they did. That's all I gotta really say about that. It's just, I praise AEW when they do great shit and when they phone stuff in like this. This is why I stopped watching Dark and Dark Elevation. I want more effort to be put into Rampage, otherwise it's just another version of Elevation, just with the TNT banner. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.